He sat there breathing, slow, deliberate, almost reverent, as if each inhale was a conversation with a part of himself he'd abandoned long ago. I watched the shift happening inside him, not with my eyes, but with the intuitive sense that comes from witnessing hundreds of people step out of their numbness and into their truth. It's subtle at first, a softening of the shoulders, a deeper swallow, a tremor behind the eyes, but it's unmistakable. This is what it looks like when someone finally stops fighting their body. He opened his eyes and said, almost shyly, "It feels strange, but in a good way, like I've been clenching my whole life and didn't even know it." I nodded. Most people don't. We get so used to tension that we call it normal. We call it personality. We call it adulthood. He laughed under his breath, and it wasn't the sarcastic laugh he gave earlier. It was different, almost relieved. I continued, "Your body has been asking for your attention for years. You're just now answering." He leaned back in his chair, letting the truth settle into places inside him that had been untouched for too long. There was a silence between us, not empty, not awkward, but dense, sacred. After a moment he whispered, "You said something before. Something about people thinking their anxiety is their identity." I nodded. He swallowed hard. "That's me. I thought I was anxiety. That it was just who I was." "No," I said gently. "It's who you became to survive. But it isn't who you are." He didn't look up, but I could see the words hit him like a memory he had buried under years of noise. I leaned forward just slightly, keeping my voice soft. "Anxiety is not a personality, it's a signal." He looked up suddenly. "A signal, yes. A signal that your body is asking for regulation. A signal that your brain is overwhelmed. A signal that you need breath, not battle." He exhaled slowly, as if releasing a truth he had been clinging to his entire life. I always thought breathing was too simple to help something so complex. And that's the misunderstanding so many people live with. They think healing must be complicated because their pain was complicated. But I said, the body doesn't need complexity. It needs consistency. He nodded, absorbing every word. Then he said, "You know what the hardest part is?" "What?" "Letting go of the idea that everything has to be hard. That I have to fight for every ounce of peace." I smiled softly. "That belief is a scar. And scars form from old truths that aren't true anymore." He looked away, blinking rapidly, and I could tell he was holding back something heavy, something he'd carried silently for years. Finally he spoke. "My father used to tell me that calm people were weak, that a real man should always be ready, alert, braced." There it was, a belief passed down like an invisible inheritance, shaping a life in ways he never recognized. I said, whoever taught him that must have lived a life where tension felt safer than silence. His eyes widened, realization striking him like a sudden ripple across still water. He whispered, "He did. He never rested. Not once." "Then you're not just breathing for yourself," I said. "You're breaking a cycle." He swallowed hard, chest rising with a shaky inhale. This one not from fear but from recognition. A cycle ending, a legacy dissolving, a new beginning forming quietly inside him. He ran a hand through his hair. "Why does this feel emotional?" "It's just breathing." "Because breath is permission," I said softly. Permission to stop pretending. Permission to let the body be held instead of braced. Permission to finally feel what you've been outrunning. He looked up, eyes wet, but no tears fell. He wasn't collapsing. He was opening. "You know," he said quietly, "I never realized how scared I was of relaxing. Because when you relax, things catch up to you." I nodded. "And breath doesn't force you to face everything at once. It gives you space, one inhale at a time." Another silence passed between us. This one felt different, like a doorway opening instead of a wall closing. Then he asked the question so many people fear to ask. What if I don't know how to be calm? What if I've never been calm a single day in my life? I didn't answer immediately. I let him breathe in that question. Let it echo inside him like a truth he had been terrified to admit. Then I said, "Good. That means every calm moment from here forward will be the first of its kind. You're not repairing an old version of yourself. You're building a new one." He closed his eyes again, breathing more steadily now, and whispered, "Can we practice again?" And right there in that room, we did. Not because he needed guidance, but because he finally wanted peace, Breath by breath, his body began trusting him again. Breath by breath, his nervous system softened. Breath by breath, he began meeting himself. Not the self he was told to be, but the self he actually is. And in that moment I realized something profound. Healing doesn't begin when people find the right technique. Healing begins when people finally feel safe enough to breathe.